Early Church Fathers, October 25th readings. Hermas the Shepherd, Pastor, Book 3, Similitudes 1-2. Similitude 1. As in this world we have no abiding city. I hear the voice. You who serve God live as strangers. Your true city is far from here. If I already know where my citizenship lies, why do I act as if this passing place were home, buying fields, expanding houses, stacking up rooms and ornaments that will not travel with me? Whoever settles here, as if it were forever, will find it hard to return to his own city. The ruler of this place may at any moment say, "You do not keep my laws, leave." Then what use are my titles and ledgers, my walls and barns, when I am driven out? Here is the trap. For the sake of what I own, I am tempted to deny the law of my own city and conform to the customs of this one. But if I deny my city's law to stay comfortable here, how will I be received when I try to go back? I will be shut out, an exile to both places. Therefore I live as a foreigner with a traveler's kit, no more provisions than I need to carry on, ready to walk away when the master of this city expels me for not bowing to its orders. And I will go to my own city with joy, free to obey its law without fear or hindrance. So I keep the Lord's works close, remembering his commands and promises, believing he will do what he has pledged if I keep what he has spoken. The true investment. Instead of purchasing land that can be seized, I buy afflicted souls according to my means. I visit widows and orphans. I refuse to overlook them. I spend the wealth the Lord placed in my hands on these living estates. This is why the Master made me rich, that I might serve him by serving them. These are the properties I will find in my own city when I come to live there. This spending is sacred. No sorrow in the outlay, no fear in the return, only joy. I refuse the wasteful expenditures of the nations which corrode the servants of God. I practice an expenditure of my own, generosity that gladdens the heart. I will not corrupt what belongs to another, or touch what is not mine, or covet what my neighbor holds. Such cravings rot the soul. I do the work that is mine to do, and in that obedience I will be saved. Similitude 2. As the vine is supported by the elm, the lesson of the field. Walking a field, I notice an elm and a vine. The vine bears fruit, the elm doesn't. Yet when the vine sprawls along the ground, its clusters are small and spoiled. Lifted and trained upon the elm, it ripens heavy and sweet, and the elm, though barren in itself, becomes the vine's strength and scaffold, a partner in its harvest. The shepherd meets me and says, "These two trees are a parable for God's servants." I understand it like this. Some of us look strong and well-rooted, like an elm, and yet are barren toward God. Others seem fragile like a vine, yet are rich in fruit. Strength alone does not feed the world. Fruit does. But fruit does not flourish without support. When God joins what looks barren to what appears fragile, both become abundant. The partnership of rich and poor. The rich man, the voice teaches, has wealth but is often poor toward the Lord, distracted by his holdings. His confessions and intercessions are few, weak, and have little reach. The poor man, by contrast, is rich in intercession and thanksgiving. His prayers carry weight with God. When the rich refresh the poor without hesitation, feeding, clothing, paying what must be paid, shouldering real needs, the poor, sustained, take up their rich work. They stand before God and plead for their benefactors, giving thanks for those who understood the holy purpose of wealth. Each does the work he has received from the Lord. The poor repay with intercession. The rich give from the gifts entrusted to them. This partnership is great and pleasing to God, because the steward understands why he was made a steward and discharges his service faithfully. People see the elm and say it bears nothing, not realizing that in drought the elm's inner store of water feeds the vine, and the vine, kept from withering, yields a double harvest, fruit for itself and fruit for the elm that lifted it. So it is among us. The prayers of the poor increase the good of the merciful. The gifts of the rich satisfy the souls of the needy. Both become partners in a righteous work, and God does not abandon such workers. Their names are written among the living. Blessed are those who possess wealth and know their wealth is from the Lord. Such people will be able to do good. Blessed are those who possess little and know that prayer is treasure. Such people will be able to enrich many. Together, vine and elm teach me to stop measuring worth by appearances, lift and be lifted, give and be prayed for. In drought, draw from hidden stores. In harvest, share the weight of the clusters. This is how the Lord makes barren things fruitful and fragile things strong. Walking it out. I take stock of my life with these two pictures before me. As a stranger in this world, I choose travel-light obedience over anchored luxury. I direct my surplus toward people who cannot be sold out from under me. I move wealth from accounts that rust to accounts in heaven. As a fellow worker in God's field, I seek out the vines sprawled low in the dust and lift them. Steady income where panic reigns, patient presence where loneliness suffocates, faithful attention where dignity has been ignored. Then I ask the poor to carry me too, with what they have in abundance, intercession and thanksgiving, so that my strength does not become sterile. If I am the vine, I will not scorn the elm. If I am the elm, I will not despise the vine. I will let God bind us together until fruit appears. And when it does, I will remember what winter taught me. Nothing here lasts. So I keep my heart with my own city, and I spend like a citizen who is going home. The meaning of be fruitful and multiply. If we take the command, be fruitful and multiply, in its plain and natural sense, it refers to all creatures that reproduce through seed. But if, as Scripture seems to intend, the phrase is meant figuratively, then this blessing extends far beyond the physical. Fruitfulness and multiplication belong also to the unseen realm, to spirits in heaven and to souls on earth, to the righteous as well as the unrighteous, to the light and to the darkness. The same blessing touches those holy writers through whom God gave the law, as though they were the firmament separating the waters above from the waters below. It applies to nations still bitter and restless, like the sea, to holy souls thirsting for God, like dry land waiting for rain, to works of mercy, the seed-bearing herbs and fruit trees of human life, to spiritual gifts that shine for the edification of others, the lights of heaven, and to disciplined affections, the living soul formed in temperance. Everywhere we find the divine pattern, growth, abundance, increase. The fruitfulness of word and mind. To be fruitful and multiply means more than biological growth. It is the gift of expressing one truth in many ways and of finding many meanings in one revealed word. The waters of the sea represent the movement of outward signs, the speech of human language rising from the depths of our bodily weakness. The earth represents the human mind, where thoughts are conceived and brought to maturity by reason. Thus, O Lord, to both these you have said, be fruitful and multiply. To voice and to intellect alike, you have granted abundance, the power to express in countless ways what is known as one, and to understand in countless ways what is written as one. The waters of speech are filled with living signs, the earth of reason with the fruit of understanding. In this, both the sound of the sea and the soil of the soul proclaim your blessing, that creation in all its forms may multiply the praise of its Creator. E. Thomas Aquinas Summa Theologica, question 31 of delight considered in itself. Question: what is the nature of delight, and how does it differ between sense and spirit? Objection: it seems that delight is not a passion, for it belongs to the intellect, which does not suffer change as the body does. Further, delight appears to be transient and unstable, belonging to those who take pleasure in the passing things of the world, not to those whose rest is in the divine. Moreover, some say delight and joy are the same, for both are rest in what is loved, so there seems no reason to distinguish them. Responsio, I answer that delight or pleasure is the repose of love when the soul possesses what it desires. Every appetite moves toward its proper good, and when that good is attained, motion ceases, and rest begins. This rest is delight. Delight is rightly called a passion in the sensitive soul, for it follows upon the fulfillment of the appetite in the senses. Yet there is also an intellectual delight belonging to the will, which rests in the good known by reason. The two differ not in essence, but in order. The one belongs to the flesh, the other to the spirit. Delight is not a movement through time, but a simple act. It endures only so long as the beloved good is possessed. Bodily delight may fade when its cause departs, but spiritual joy remains as long as the will clings to the eternal good. Delight differs from joy in this. Delight may belong even to the senses, but joy belongs properly to the reason and will. Joy is delight perfected by understanding. Thus, I may delight in a melody, but I rejoice in truth and in God himself. The soul finds greater joy in the good of the spirit than in the pleasure of the body. For the good of the spirit is higher, more enduring, and more proper to man's nature. The more noble the good, the deeper the delight. Therefore the highest joy belongs to contemplation of God, where love finds its perfect rest. Not all pleasures are alike. Some are natural and ordered, as when food refreshes the hungry or rest renews the weary. Others are disordered and false, when the appetite seeks what corrupts rather than fulfills. These latter are not natural delights, but sicknesses of desire. Pleasure itself is neither good nor evil. It is the shadow cast by love, taking its quality from the object loved. Pleasures may oppose one another when their objects are contrary, as the delight of the body may war against the peace of the spirit. But when love is rightly ordered, all delights harmonize, for lesser pleasures yield to greater. The saints, therefore, do not despise delight, but order it. They taste the sweetness of creation without forgetting its maker. Quick summa delight is the rest of love in the possession of its good. It exists in both body and soul, yet spiritual joy is the truest and highest form of delight. The story of Caitlin and the well. While Caitlin had spent her youth chasing every new sweetness she could find, music, praise, and the glittering noise of the world, each pleasure vanished quickly, leaving a quiet ache in its place. One evening she walked by an old stone well on the edge of her family's land. Thirsty, she drew up a bucket of cold, still water and drank deeply. For a moment she felt peace. Years later, after the noise of life had grown wearisome, she returned again to that same well. The water had not changed. She realized then that delight was never meant to run wild through the fields. It was meant to rest, clear and deep, in something that does not pass away. She sat beside the well until the sun went down and whispered, "The soul drinks best when it drinks from you."